Big news day today. We started with the front page news since yesterday's show, and while we were asleep, this for Wednesday, September 6th, 2023. Attorney General for Texas, Ken Paxton, has pled not guilty at his impeachment trial. Embattled Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton pled not guilty yesterday through his attorney during the first day of his state Senate impeachment trial. This, by the way, being reported from NEWSMAX. The allegations are untrue. Therefore, Ken Paxton pleads not guilty. The Hill reported attorney Tony Buzbee told the court over and over and over again until someone in the prosecution finally objected and said just make it a guilty plea or a not guilty plea. Paxton is facing 16 corruption charges by the Texas House in May by a vote of 121 to 23, which includes his alleged efforts to attack the political enemies of Austin realtor Nate Paul, taking a bribe from Paul for protection, then engaging in activities to cover the wrongdoing. This, according to the prosecution report. The Texas Tribune reports that the first day of Ken Paxton's impeachment trial included a series of highly anticipated votes, including multiple bids to dismiss every article of impeachment. Those all failed. Paxton's attorney succeeded in another key early decision when Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, acting in his role as trial judge, ruled that the suspended attorney general could not be forced to testify during impeachment proceedings. In opening statements, the House impeachment managers accused Paxton of allowing a slow creep of corruption to taint his office. His lawyers fired back and disparaged the impeachment case against him as a dangerous exercise based on, quote, ignorance, innuendo, and outright lies, unquote. Prosecutors today are expected to continue calling witnesses who they hope will bolster their argument that Paxton should be removed from office. In national news this morning, House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer has subpoenaed Alejandro Mayorkas, the Secret Service, and select DHS staffers over the Hunter Biden probe. The House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer yesterday subpoenaed Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, along with three other DHS employees, and two Secret Service staffers, as the House panel expands its inquiry into whether the Justice Department improperly tipped off the protective agency, the Secret Service, while investigating Hunter Biden over alleged tax crimes. The six subpoenas serve dual inquiries, seeking information surrounding how the Secret Service, as well as the Biden transition team, was notified about plans to interview the president's son, along with alleged improper conduct by the agencies as committees aimed to get that information. The subpoena also includes demands regarding DHS's Office of Legislative Affairs and includes an allegation that DHS blocked the Secret Service from responding to a previous request for interviews regarding claims from IRS whistleblower Gary Shapley. Shapley, an IRS agent who previously led the investigation into Hunter Biden's tax issues, testified that the Secret Service headquarters was improperly tipped off about a planned December 8th, 2020 attempt to seek an interview with Hunter Biden, which then foiled those plans. NEWSMAX is reporting that in a statement, Representative Matt Gaetz predicted forthcoming efforts to compel the House to vote on impeachment and then delivered a warning to Speaker Kevin McCarthy, the Republican from California. Quote, Gaetz said, I worked very hard in January to develop a toolkit for House Republicans to use in a productive and positive way. I don't believe we're using those tools as effectively as we should be, unquote. Gaetz said that when the House returns to Washington next week, Republicans must proactively seize the initiative with a vote to initiate an impeachment inquiry against President Joe Biden. Biden is accused of, among other things, participating in his son Hunter's efforts to secure foreign business deals by trading on the Biden family name. Quote, that means forcing votes on impeachment, and if Speaker McCarthy stands in our way, he may not have the job long, unquote, said Representative Matt Gaetz. The London Daily Mail reports that President Joe Biden has sparked backlash after he hastily exited a Medal of Honor ceremony at the White House, leaving a celebrated war hero awkwardly alone on stage. The president, who's 80 years old, quickly made his way out of the East Room after awarding the nation's highest military honor to Captain Larry Taylor. He's 81 years old, a retired Army officer celebrated for his heroics during the Vietnam War. But while Taylor shed a tear as the medal was pinned around his neck, Biden appeared less moved by the moment as he reportedly was already heading out the door before the closing benediction was read. While many have reacted with fury, some have speculated that the commander-in-chief was trying to give the veterans the spotlight, leading to an awkward moment where Taylor was left alone on stage. The gaffe came after Biden was earlier criticized for removing his mask moments before greeting Taylor, despite First Lady Jill Biden's positive test for COVID-19 on the day before. President Biden's quick getaway is the latest in a long line of incidents that have led people to brand him disrespectful to troops, including an infamous moment where he repeatedly checked his watch during a ceremony honoring soldiers killed at the Abbey Gate suicide bombing in Kabul, Afghanistan in 2021. USA Today reports that former Proud Boys national chairman Enrique Tarrio was sentenced to 22 years in prison yesterday, the longest sentence yet, related to the Capitol attack on January 6, 2021. This after his conviction for seditious conspiracy to overturn the 2020 election and to keep Donald Trump in the White House. Prosecutors had sought 33 years in prison for Tarrio, 39 years of age. He is from Miami. He was not at the Capitol on January 6th, but had organized the Proud Boys members who were among the first to breach the historic building and who temporarily prevented Congress from counting Electoral College votes to certify the election. Tarrio argued at trial he was blamed for the riot after President Trump inflamed the mob. He was in Baltimore the day of the attack, did not direct anyone to assault police or destroy property, said his lawyers, who proposed a sentence of no more than 15 years. Doctors are pushing back on the recommendation by Dr. Anthony Fauci. This happened yesterday. Fox News reports Dr. Anthony Fauci, in an interview over the weekend, spoke about the potential return for mask wearing in America in light of a seasonal uptick of COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations. Doctors now, reached by Fox News, are sharing their reactions to the comments by the former White House chief medical advisor. I'm concerned that people will not abide by masking recommendations, said Fauci. Dr. Brett Osborne, a board-certified neurosurgeon in West Palm Beach, Florida, also the founder of a preventative health care and anti-aging facility called Senolytics, said this. He pointed to limited efficacy data for masks, particularly regarding the large-scale spread of the disease, as was the case during the pandemic. Quote, let's face it, regardless of mask usage, the population en masse will be exposed to SARS-CoV-2 and its variants, as is the case with influenza, said Dr. Osborne. He continued, quote, this is inevitable and independent of quarantines, lockdowns, and other measures that only cultivate a sense of false security, the doctor said. In political news today, the doctor that examined Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, Dr. Brett Monahan, the Capitol attending physician, has confirmed in a letter that he did look over Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell after his freeze-up last week and said that there is no evidence McConnell had a seizure or experienced a stroke, TIA, or movement disorder such as Parkinson's disease. Quote, my examination of you following your August 30th, 2023 brief episode included several medical evaluations, brain MRI imaging, EEG study, and consultations with several neurologists for a comprehensive neurological assessment, Monahan wrote to McConnell. He is a Republican from Kentucky. He's 81 years of age. His office released the letter yesterday. Quote, there is no evidence that you have a seizure disorder or that you experienced a stroke, a TIA, which, by the way, is a transient ischemic attack, or a movement disorder such as Parkinson's disease. Good news. By the way, ABC News now reports that most Senate Republicans say they stand by Mitch McConnell, regardless of his various health issues. While Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell's health may have raised questions outside the Senate about his fitness to serve, most GOP senators yesterday stood by their leader, expressing confidence in his ability to carry out his job. Quote, we may expect that Mitch McConnell will check out for 20 seconds a day, but the other 86,380 seconds in the day, he does a pretty darn good job, said Senator Mitt Romney, the Republican from Utah. Quote, I'm firmly behind his remaining as our leader. Sounds good to me, so I'm all good with Mitch, said Senator Lindsey Graham, the Republican from South Carolina. Romney and Graham's sentiments were shared by members of the Senate Republican leadership team, even those who are seen as possible successors to Mitch McConnell in his leadership role. ABC News is reporting that the UAW is going big when it comes to their union negotiations for a contract. They're talking about a 4-day work week at full-time pay, a 46% wage increase, a share of company profits among some of the demands of the union, representing approximately 150,000 workers at the big three U.S. car makers, General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis. The United Auto Workers Union, the UAW, has vowed to launch a strike September 14th if the union and automakers fail to reach an agreement by then. Even UAW President Shawn Fain last month described the workers' set of demands as audacious. He defended the ambitious agenda in a series of public statements, citing billions in profits enjoyed by the big three. The automakers, meanwhile, have largely rejected the demands. Only Ford has presented a contract proposal offering a 9% wage increase over the term of the contract, plus a one-time payout that brings the total raise to 15%. In sports news today, Kim Russell is the women's lacrosse coach at Oberlin College, a liberal arts school in Ohio. She is speaking out regarding transgender inclusion in women's sports as she was a guest on the Ingram Angle with Laura Ingram last night. Russell had been the center of a large debate with Oberlin College after she talked about how administrators and her players ridiculed her after she posted her personal viewpoint about Leah Thomas winning an NCAA championship in swimming in 2022 on social media. Russell reposted a headline that sarcastically congratulated former Virginia swim star Emma Wyant for defeating Thomas, a transgender female, where the Yo women, they're called the Yeomen, so it would be the Yo woman. Head coach wrote, "What do you believe? I can't be quiet on this. I've spent my life playing sports, starting and coaching sports programs for girls and women. It's acceptable to have your own opinion, but when they go against Oberlin College beliefs, it's a problem." This from Craig Jantz. He is the Senior Associate Director of Athletics. And that is the front page for the Wells Report on this Wednesday, September 6th, 2023.